We have a toy pickup into the new year. It's gonna be slow going, but a toy will come in. So let's see what we got. It's gonna be a wrestling figure. Vintage wrestling figure. Give you the first look. Detail on this figure is looking good. Trousers are what I remember HBK for. And his wrestling. He does the sweet chin music. Can I get the leg up? Nope. As far as leg will go. Does the sweet chin music. Boom. Kick you in the mush. That was his move. So I picked HBK over Bret Hart first. Although I am Canadian, so naturally I should pick Bret Hart. But I came to like HBK more than Bret Hart in wrestling. So I gravitated to HBK. Then he became a manager as well. He's currently a manager, not of Raw, but of another brand of WWE, SmackDown, I think. But I could be wrong on that. But the detail I remember HBK for is these trousers. You can't do your own paint job and get detail like this. Don't even try to buy those unpainted figures. It's not worth it. Some people talk about those unpainted figures, but don't bother. Just go into a newer line, a newer brand, Elite or Mattel. You'll be happy with the figure. So I don't recommend those specialty figures you have to paint yourself. They're not worth it unless it's something you would want to try. He is slightly taller than a drinking cup. He does have holes on his feet. He is a vintage wrestler from WrestleMania, I think, as well. So if you're getting those unpainted figures, he even got a tattoo on his arm there. You will not get the detail in the face. You might get some detail on your own in the pants, but you don't screw up if you buy those kind of figures. I don't recommend them. The unpainted figures that some people are talking about now, you can paint yourself, but it's only if you really are very artistic and you know what you're doing. No disc. He does stand well on his own. He's smaller build, but he had some good moves, some good promos as well, from what I remember. Why I picked HBK first over Bret Hart, even though I am Canadian. I should have picked Bret Hart first, but I'll pick Bret Hart next time. So, but Bret Hart's a whiner ever since he lost that one match to Shawn Michels. So he lost fair and square. It was a kick in the ring, so it was an overtime. That's a reason why he became a whiner. I never really liked him ever since then. So I kind of got more interested in Shawn Michels and stuff he did with DX, and stuff he did on his own. And then he ended up fighting HBK for a while. He fought HBK, Triple H, HBK, Triple H. So they were partners and they were enemies. Stuff like that I remember about Shawn Michels. Don't have to remember everything about him. Some promos I remember. When he was in the kitchen doing a promo, and Triple H was trying to get Shawn Michels to come back into the ring. So it's the kind of promos I remember. So I remember him sucking more than I do Bret Hart, but also they're about all even, Shawn Michels and Bret Hart, in terms of memories for me. But I picked HBK first because it was slightly cheaper, and he came up a little bit cheaper, so that was the reason I just picked him first over Bret Hart. Eventually, I will pick a Bret Hart. So we are in the new year, and we are getting ready to rumble. Pick up more wrestlers and the characters that I enjoy from wrestling. Not about getting every character or every single figure, or every vintage character or every 80s character, or beyond 80s. Those characters might then you run into stuff like LJN. Only problem I have with LJN, those rubber figures now, they are too worn out, too beat up, too chewed up, paint's all peeling. So, and if you're getting a vintage character nice, repainted, you're paying slightly more for them. So it wasn't worth it for me to start collecting on them. Even though that's what I grew up with, having those big rubber figures, at least a few of them. And he's standing fairly well on his own, but nice to have a disc for him. Slightly taller than a drinking cup. I think he is a vintage heritage figure from WrestleMania. There are different variations of him in trousers. I picked the one with his white shorts showing. I think it was stood out the most to me. And all the detail on his trousers, kind of country-ish style trousers. He had a country look, but he never really stood out as a country figure. I think he had a country hat sometimes, but he didn't stand out as that country character. But really happy to have HBK, Shawn Michels. So these are the kind of characters I grew up with. These are some of the characters I'm looking for. Eventually we'll get his counterpart, Bret Hart. They're not really partners, but they were enemies, so you cannot have Shawn Michels and you cannot have Bret Hart. You gotta have both of them, and they both stand out to me, so eventually Bret Hart will come. Just happened to pick Shawn Michels first, sorry Bret Hart, but I remember him slightly more, and he came up slightly cheaper. Detail on his face, if you try to get those unpainted figures, you won't get a kind of detail around the eyes, the hair. You'll screw up somewhere, so I don't recommend getting the unpainted characters. Plus, they're more like statues. These move, arms move slightly. These aren't just posable statues, so you can play with them, do leg drops, headbutts, and all that. Eventually, arm might break if you are very rough with them, so I don't want to play with them. That's more for the rubber LGN figures, but they're slightly overpriced, so I don't come into those kind of characters that often. But maybe years down the line, we'll pick up one or two from LGN. For now, we're on the way with Mattel. Sometimes they put Mattel/Elite for these characters. Whether it's a vintage character, going with a newer line or the older line like LJN. It's about wrestling, so it's not about which line is more appealing, LJN or Elite or Hasbro. Some people don't want to collect on them, they just want to collect on LJN. Whatever you want to collect on, brother, that's what you collect on. And these are the characters I want to pick, because sometimes LJN, the rubber characters, they don't have certain characters, so, and that's the reason why I did not start with those big husky rubber characters, even though that's what I remember having when I grew up. At least I had a few of them. I never had much toys growing up, so this is a good reason to do more toy hunting now. Thanks for watching. New Year, so this one will be up slightly around springtime, I think. Slowly, characters will be coming in. We're not in a rush. We don't need to jam a whole shelf with wrestling, but pick up a few characters I remember, and we'll go from there. Thanks for watching. Eventually, if you play rough with these characters, arm might break or something, so they're just nice to have as a posing figure. So, fortunately, it did not come with a disc, but it stands on its own fairly well. Don't think it'll break if it falls off the shelf, but if it falls a couple of times, then eventually an arm might break or something. These are a bit like statues, but I'm not sure if you play rough with them, how long they will last. Because I do see people posting broken wrestling toys up, and I know people will say, "Oh, we didn't care about the condition of the toys," but yeah, condition of the toys is important. Thanks for watching. Once in a while, a wrestling figure will come in. Once in a while, a different character will come in. We'll get something every once in a while. Build up our toy collection slightly more than it is. Thanks for watching.